It will be Kaisa versus Viktor.
Ooh, I'll take
this
it.
time around.
I will
Marc
take it.
versus Declan. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens here in this matchup. Oftentimes, Kaisa has been a gatekeeper for Viktor, especially in the Chinese scene where Viktor had struggled quite a bit. One of the worst conversion rates, if not the worst conversion rate.
The actual worst conversion
The worst
rate.
of any of the decks that had, meaningful representation at the tournament at a 4% conversion rate across all of those Chinese tournaments. But still, it has been a popular pick overall for a lot of players. Part of it, the accessibility. You can get a pretty strong Viktor deck for probably about $80 compared to some of the other top decks. But also, a lot of players still just believe in it. Good colors. Blue has been just incredibly strong. And that legend ability, so you're never missing your turn 1 drop. You've always got units on the board that you can play around with. And you see going second, Viktor always being able to set up double unit is so sweet, as we've got a little... What is it, a jelly froggy that he's got as his recruit token? I love to see it, as Marc ends up having to miss that first turn, and this hand is looking pretty tough as he is just staring down 2 1s and going to have to deploy the falling star to just stop the train of points from coming through. As we do have our first battlefields going to be Vilemaw's Lair for Viktor alongside Reaver's Row. So one battlefield that says, hey, we would like to go to the base as much as possible, and one that says, hey, you cannot leave. So Vilemaw's Lair says units can't move from here to base, and Reaver's Row says, when I defend, you may move 1 unit from here to your base. So one lets you retreat, the other does not.
One lets you have the ability to not retreat, even if you want to.
Yeah.
Now, interesting here, and we're going to see it already. Blue Viktor is one that I have not seen a ton of since the revealing of Falling Star.
Yeah, this is one I've been seeing a little bit more creep up. And, and the reason is it says when you play a card on opponent's turn, play a 1 might recruit unit token to your base.
Yeah.
Play a card, not a spell. And they like to play hidden cards to go alongside with it, including sometimes like a 1-of copy of something like a Blast Cone Fae. Which is not a spell, but it is in fact a unit, and it is really tricky to play around when you expect, I just have this little token recruit there. Clearly, this is just going to be a Call of the Week, or not a Call of the Week, that is going to be a Hidden Blade hidden there that I'm just going to draw 2. Oh, wait, you've come in with something weak, Blast Cone Fae, and I'm going to blow you out, which has been very cool. I'm not sure if it's in this list, but I've seen that with the Viktor Inquisitive recently, as we are going to get a nice little attempt at a blowout here from the Call of the Week, but the retreat is going to be deployed to protect the Kaisa for Marc's side. And he will still need to get rid of one of his own units for Call of the Week, and going to decide whether it is going to be the Soaring Scout or a recruit.
Oh, bye, Froggy.
Oh, bye, Froggy. I liked the Froggy.
Oh, bye, Froggy. But we are going to get that Soaring Scout. We are going to get that effective ramp there. I guess the rebuy, the Call of the Week, of course, does cost an order power there. And I mean, if it weren't for that that recall there, that retreat, it would be a very sad day for the Kaisa right now.
I also wanted to call out in Declan's hand, we saw a seal, which leads me to believe that this may be, looking for those hidden cards, because one of the reasons you would play the seal is so you don't have to pay that power cost constantly if you've got a lot of hidden cards in your deck. So curious if we'll end up getting to see that, as Marc does end up just accelerating the Kaisa Survivor into the Reaver's Row. And Declan going to have to consider if he wants to run that recruit away, but instead...
It looks like there's some discussion here.
All right, going to decide to stupefy the Kaisa.
Okay. Of course, reaction speed. And guess what? That is a card played on an opponent's turn. That's a recruit for Blue Viktor.
Yep. There you go.
All right.
Going to let that resolve, responding to the attack and defend triggers there with the Stupefy, and then resolving the recruit running away. But yeah, as you said, I mean, that's just a recruit. Your Stupefy now became draw a card, make a recruit on this turn, because the -1 was irrelevant.
I'd play that card.
Seems kind of fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, one energy, draw a card, make a recruit.
Yeah, I'd play that card.
Fair enough.
I will note here, now Declan did leave up energy there for some interaction. We do see the recall there. It was at the cost of Viktor's hero ability, so we did not use Viktor's ability there. We did, of course, re-buy the recruit there with the blue Viktor, but we opted to leave up spells rather than actually using the Viktor hero ability.
Yeah, I'm going to try and run into Vilema's lair, but Marc is going to say no thank you with just a Hextech Ray, dealing with this little recruit. Now, both blue and yellow seals for Declan. I'm wondering how many copies of seals are actually in this deck. Right now, kind of clogging up the hand, but we'll see if those continue to like come into fruition later.
Yeah.
As Declan is going to start with just a seal after getting all of this stuff being paid. And then he's going, I believe this is just a singularity being cast so that he can pay for the deflect costs here. Is still going to have to pay 1 on that singularity.
Yep.
Target 2 will have to pay deflect.
Yep, and you can just pay for that with a seal. So, fully cooked little singularity there. That's going to be Viktor getting another point, and even blue Viktor getting in there. I like it. Yeah.
Look, this is, the risk here of putting your Inquisitive in there is because he can get taken out by something like a Ray. But if I remember correctly, Declan is holding on to a retreat in that hand, which he can try and bait out a spell from Marc and send his Viktor back to the hand.
Yeah, we've also seen Falling Star and 2 Hextech Rays already. And, yes, of course, we know that Kaisa plays more than that.
Whoa!
What? Excuse me?
Unchecked power just to try and kill a recruit and a blue Viktor.
Yeah, excuse me?
And Declan says, hey, guess what? I don't want just one recruit. I'm going to go ahead and cast a Stupefy on my own Viktor.
Yeah.
Make a recruit. And now I'm going to send him home, which I believe triggers the Viktor before it resolves and he makes a recruit.
It
would be my understanding.
Yeah, it should.
Looks like they're talking about it right now. Maybe we'll see a judge call to confirm. I actually don't know. I believe it does, though. I believe that it would go on top with the trigger when you cast. But actually, no, it's when you play. When you play, it has to resolve, right? It has to resolve for when you play. No, it actually shouldn't. It shouldn't, because he won't see it.
Right.
That's right. I always, this is the constant,
difference.
Forget it every time, where it's like, when you play means that the card must resolve to actually get the when you play effect.
And notably, this is different than how it would work in Magic.
Right.
So if you're coming from other games, this is a notable difference. One of those things that you've got to learn in Riftbound. Some things are similar, some things are different. This is one of those differences. And again, I will point out, Declan left up both of the runes there. Of course, we are going to get the 2 recruits, but this is at the cost of using the Viktor hero power. We could have easily just used the Viktor on our turn, not cast the Stupefy, left the Stupefy up. So over the course of the game, it's kind of like -1 recruit. Even though you're getting that recruit with the blue Viktor, we could have had a free recruit and the card's still in hand. So it's not necessarily like, oh, we're fully getting max value out of this blue Viktor. It is still costing.
Yeah, so while they resolve that judge call, my understanding of the rules, and, chat can roast me if I'm wrong.
I tend to agree with you. Yeah.
I believe that blue Viktor should not actually make a recruit from this retreat. Because of the fact that in order to have a card played, it must resolve, right? So we will see if that's what we get when we get back into the action of that match as they continue to resolve that, because that is one of the things that sometimes can be less intuitive, but the ruling is that he does get the recruit here, as he does have 2 back at home.
It's really a matter of, in that split second of it resolving and him being in hand, does he see the spell
Does he see the spell resolve?
I just don't know the answer. Although I guess it was ruled here that you do get it. I like it.
But of course, a lot of
sorry, was that echo
still early on?
Did we see an echo?
Was it in hand?
I think we saw an echo.
Oh, that is spicy. I mean, that might give you more fuel for the fire for your Viktor Inquisitive on your turn if the echo is holding somewhere, gets taken down by your opponent.
Okay, it was not 1 echo.
Oh, it was 2 echoes.
It's 2 echoes.
It was 2 echoes drawn. Now, what I will say, one of the underrated aspects of Echo is that this just has Accelerate printed on it.
Yeah.
Which, when you're a deck that's trying to push points, having access to accelerated units is important. And now, of course, in this color, generally the option for that is going to be Watcher. I'm not surprised if there's also Watchers in this deck, but Echo is a cheaper alternative. Now, not nearly as powerful, but you can get that Accelerate going a little bit quicker. And I'm curious, especially with the additional synergy that he's going to have when he attempts to hold and your opponent does, kill him on their turn, you'll get those runes back, and maybe you can crank out some extra recruits with your Victor Inquisitive that you've been playing around.
Oh, I'm wondering. We see Echo, we see the seals here. Are we also running Time Warp?
Oh, probably.
Oh,
I mean, surely.
This is what we in the business like to call a brew, and I'm absolutely here for it.
Yeah, very cool Victor list from Declan.
I'm currently writing down all of the cards for this deck so that I can try to pick them up at the vendor booth on my break.
Yeah. Certainly trying to redeem the poor performances out of Victor that we had seen so far in tournament play. And it's definitely not a variation that we've really seen much of. So it's really hard to judge this as what we had previously seen with Victor.
Right.
It's certainly different. It's certainly unique. It has some ideas that we've seen before, but, not all of these together in one build of Victor. And just going to go ahead and trade away with the Noxus Hopeful.
Yep.
We'll get another rune out from these Soaring Scouts. And currently not having an immediate answer to the Thousand-Tailed Watcher, but, you did mention there was a second Echo, and 10 is bigger than 7.
Yeah.
Plus, you'll get a chance to reset all the runes that you spend accelerating and potentially go even further.
Yeah, I do like this attack here because we saw the send in 2 units, 1 apiece to try to fight the 2 might unit. Now, Marc could very easily have had a Hextech Ray or, I guess basically Hextech Ray is probably the biggest thing, and gotten a, quote-unquote 2-for-1. But if that's the case, Declan now knows, oh, okay, you've used that last Hextech Ray. I no longer have to worry about it. And try to get a little bit of extra information. Now, of course, we did not see it. Marc either doesn't have it or chose not to play it. Echo.
And now both Echoes deployed to push in to try and score the 7th point of the game. Marc could just retreat the Thousand-Tailed Watcher, but decides that he may actually just pass against stepping away in order to retreat the Watcher so that he can actually play it again to try and deal with these Echoes.
Yep. Makes sense, but that is going to be point number 7 for Declan. There's Victor getting activated. And we pass the turn.
Now what I'm seeing, though, is if you go for the Watcher, that can deal with one side. Currently, Declan at 7 points, holding both battlefields. You're going to have to find an additional spell, maybe, to try and push over the top. And even then, it's going to be a little difficult. Looking at that hand, it doesn't look like there's quite enough. Darius cannot be played with an accelerated Watcher. That's 13 runes, not 12.
Yep.
Look at, and it looks like that was a scoop.
Because
he picked up the deck. Sorry, I thought he was looking through his trash.
I thought he was also looking through his trash. There we go.
That is the scoop for Marc. That makes sense. He didn't have a way to get on both. So Declan takes game 1 with this very unique Victor brew going over Kai'Sa, where that matchup can be a struggle for Victor because Kai'Sa does just have a lot of removal. The efficient units are able to get a lot of the jobs done. But this was a very dominant game 1 out of Declan.
I was going to say, on paper, Kai'Sa has dominated Victor, but that did not look like it was very close, and it was in favor of the Victor.
Yeah, very, very cool plays coming out of Declan on Victor here. And I want to keep seeing that Inquisitive, right? I think there was something very nice about this early game setup for Victor. Being ahead where Kai'Sa doesn't have a 2-drop gives you a big lead. And because he's able to go second, threaten 2 units to be able to send in and score 2 points, the Kai'Sa player Marc ends up getting threatened enough to use a Falling Star, and Declan's willing to bet that he doesn't have a second and plays out that Inquisitive immediately. Says, you know what? Coast clear, let's go.
I absolutely loved the timing from Declan saying, hey, you've played a Hextech Ray and you've played a Falling Star. Yeah, you might have another one. That's fine. Like, at some point you have to say, you're not going to hold that Victor there until all 6 copies of Falling Star and Hextech Ray are played. This is not going to happen. You go, all right, you played that Falling Star, you probably don't have another one, like you said. The timing there is all too critical, and we saw Declan play it, thread the needle there quite well.
So for game 2, it is going to be War Camp from Declan. This is +1 to all units here. And on the other side, Candlelit Sanctum, not one I see from Kai'Sa too often, but this is going to be Reveal 2. When you conquer here, Reveal 2 from the top of the deck. You may put them on top or bottom in any order. And so that is a very unique battlefield for Marc to try and help out with maybe some bricks, try and find the right stuff that he needs to deal with any matchup. But once again, we actually did see Marc miss on a turn 1 play, is now found a 2-drop later with the rear guard, but not able to play something right away. Declan does not get to play 2 things going second once again, this time only playing around the Victor, but it is the nice part of Victor in that you always are going to be able to play a unit out, as we do see double seal already deployed. And there's a third seal in hand.
Okay.
That is going to be tough if he cannot find card draw, but there is a Consult the Past already.
Consult the Past is obviously going to be very helpful, and you've got Army in a Box, a.k.a. the unit there, absolutely able to get so much might across 3 bodies, which is great because unlike other games, it does not matter how big the unit is that conquers. If it conquers, you're getting the same number of points, which is great.
Unless it's Tryndamere,
Unless it's
baby.
Tryndamere.
Yeah, but of course, that is,
can't wait for
as you
Tryndamere.
said, really just any unit is still going to get you that point. It is going to be Kaisa going in. You can order the triggers here to look first with Candlelit Sanctum and then get the draw with Kaisa. So you could put it both at the bottom if you don't like either. Try and dig for something else, as we're going to see Marc do here. And he's rewarded with the Pouty Poro, which I don't think is the biggest reward of all time.
I think there are both the Poro and the player are Pouty in this case.
I would agree. I would agree.
And missing on order runes,
Don't
but
need 'em.
does not matter.
Don't need him. 2 seals, I'm sure you can pay for every. Well, I mean, if he's got Stratagem in the deck, he's got to worry about that. But we're not even close to that being part of the game plan.
Nope.
As now the recruit has been able to go in, just going to be able to activate Viktor, continue to build up this army of recruits. That seems like an Inquisitive to me, or maybe an Echo. Could be getting played down. No, it will be Inquisitive after all.
I like it.
Oh, I thought there was 5 exhausted here, but no, just the 4.
Yep. Not sure what we are.
Yeah, not sure.
Okay, just putting. Oh yeah, technically. Oh. Yep, this is fine.
Yep. And he's got the seals to start hiding things. So this is what I was talking about with these Viktor builds. Now, again, this one is a little bit different than what I've seen in the past. A lot more seals even than I had previously seen. Also, the echoes are kind of new to me. But the idea with Viktor Inquisitive and finding these hidden cards, you get to play them in response to things as reactions. You're always going to be able to get that extra value out of the Inquisitive. And the fact that it's a Consult the Past to try and make up for the amount of seals that are in this deck and were found might make these seals really just pop off, because seals are best when you draw them early.
Yeah.
While Declan maybe doesn't want to draw 3 seals per game, he certainly wants some amount to be found.
Yeah, well, speaking of popping off, how about an Acathian Rain? Take your pick.
That's exactly what Declan doesn't want to see,
1, 2, 3,
and is
4, 5,
one of the
6.
big reasons
So,
that people do not like this matchup is Viktor into Kaisa. They feel really bad about having to play into it.
Yep.
So he's waiting for the reflexive triggers so that he can reveal to get the recruit. He wants to wait until everything's coming through, respond at the proper time. So he's waiting for Marc to delineate exactly where each of these are going. Acathian Rain does put 6 reflective triggers on the stack, so you have an opportunity to respond with reactions at each individual stage of those 6 instances of 2 damage resolving.
Makes sense. And once they've been chosen, we're going to consult the past. We're going to get a free recruit. And I think after the dust is settled, if the obvious choices have been made, we're going to be left with 2 recruits in base, I think.
Yeah, let's see, because it looks like
left the one in play.
It looks like Marc indicated, hey, just keep one that's already there. Don't worry about making the new one instead, which is what they did here, just a shortcut, so they don't have to keep grabbing extra tokens. But
they left the recruit at the battlefield.
Interesting.
I guess it doesn't really matter because it was going to conquer anyway, so it's a bit of a moot point, but it melted my brain a little bit.
All right, but still, being able to keep some amount of material for Declan is certainly nice. He was able to draw up a couple more cards. We saw an Echo picked up, which I believe he's got the resources to accelerate here. And because Marc is tapped out, this is some of the power of just having Accelerate in your deck. And 5 is a breakpoint that we've kind of been talking about all day. Coming up, it's come up a lot, where 5 has just been very good to have available. And so going to get the Candlelit trigger, be able to look at the top 2, decide what goes where, and get rid of the Kaisa Survivor without Marc being able to do much about it.
Yeah, that is very powerful. I think Echo is the type of card that, even though just played the match or just played the last game and saw Echoes, it's not a card that is on the top of everyone's mind when you're doing your calculations. I don't think that most players played against an Echo a lot in their testing for this event, because it's not a particularly commonly played card.
Yeah, now it's going to be a Falling Star. I assume it's going to be, just double tap onto Echo, but no, actually going to decide the 2 recruits, which Declan's just going to go ahead and respond to that,
Yep.
get rid of his own recruit to draw 2, which we see this play a lot with Viktor, trying to use the hidden blades. Honestly, more often do I actually see them draw in Viktor.
Yeah.
However, they do have that flexibility to kill something like a Darius
Right.
if you were just trying to hold on.
Yep. Absolutely. Darius does do that, and Echo triggers. He is recycled to the bottom of the deck and awakens all of your runes. If there was something like a Consult the Past, you would, I guess, technically be able to respond to the Candlelit trigger there and cast it, but didn't see it.
Yeah. And,
Call the week, so good.
And we knew that top deck was
Yep.
coming because of the Candlelit,
Yep.
able to order it up there, make sure that he can deal with the Darius, and just has a couple of little guys to start spamming out.
Yeah.
Going to be able to make the recruit.
With nothing else on board, doesn't matter if they are a recruit or a Mundo with full trash, they still will score you a point at that open battlefield, and that's just going to be good enough.
Yeah, I mean, and Watchful Sentry is nice. That's going to get a rebuy, as Marc will have to deal with it to prevent Declan from continuing to just score over and over again. Like Falling Star to hit recruits, to hit trash from the garbage.
Yeah, the recruit is the best choice by a wide margin here.
Yeah, and it looks like recruit plus the Soaring Scout were picked because you just really don't want to let that card draw come through until you have to.
Yeah.
Marc's got his own set of 2-drops to play, but once again going to be tapped out, and Declan, going to be trying to go in and move for some more points. He's going to be able to get this Watchful Sentry in and score easily.
Yeah, Watchful's going to get that point, and notably, Candlelit Sanctum trigger is really going to be helpful here. Declan, I believe a little bit low on the resources here. I think 2 or 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, he is quite low on it, but being able to tailor these draws with Candlelit is actually helping him out quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to continue to reconquer it. This battlefield for Marc, he wants to be able to smooth his draws.
Yeah.
Actually, in this case, I think is helping Declan quite a bit.
Yeah.
It is always going to be a symmetrical battleground with your opponent unless they really aren't a conquer deck at all. But even then, they're still going to have to conquer it once, right? Or twice throughout the game. And he is going to find a singularity to just deal. We're seeing a lot of spells that are probably bigger than the targets they're hitting, the Falling Stars on the recruits, the singularity on a pair of 2-drops, but at this point, the value, the tempo that you gain from just getting rid of everything Marc played is so good, that singularity popping off for Declan.
Absolutely here. Well, there's a lot of cards that can really get Kai'Sa back in the game, namely something like Kai'Sa. We are seeing the Void Seeker on the Watchful Sentry. Yeah, we are living in Bizarro world here. I think the timelines are still inverted from round number 1.
This feels like someone taking a flamethrower to an anthill is what we've been seeing out of a lot of these spells going back and forth to just all these little tiny things. It's like, that seems like a bit much, don't you think? Like,
is that really necessary? And the answer is yes, as the players have demonstrated here. But as the
there's
dust
nothing else
settles,
to clear.
Right. You want the card from the Void Seeker, so you take it. As the dust settles here, the recruit is left there. We're going to see another recruit here made from Declan, I believe. See if there's a follow-up as well. Looks like 2 to 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's been able to choose his last few draws with this Candlelit.
Oh, so far the hidden cards have both ended up in draws. Is that a?
Oh, is that a warp?
Is that a
I
warp?
Didn't count it.
Oh, it is.
Warp up to 6.
Yeah.
Does not have the runes to double warp here, or does he?
3.
No, that's
4, 5,
8.
6, 7,
that's 8.
8.
If he finds a blue,
9.
he could double warp.
Yeah.
So if he saw a warp on top,
right,
this could just be a double warp win from Declan.
Which would be insane.
He's going through the motions pretty quickly here.
Like
I feel like he's got it.
That looks like it's speed. And
I feel like he's got the double warp here. Let's see. He draws the card.
Draws the card that he knew was there, that he put there. Oh, well, I think.
He moves in. He has to. That has to be allowed. There's still runes for Marc. Just because a double warp. Now a double warp would end the game.
Yeah.
But he had to make sure he could get in. It's not. Consult the past. Okay. The speed at which he was playing, I was like, does he have it? Is there a double warp there? The seals allow it. The seals really enable your ability to play warp in back-to-back turns. But there still was a lot of draw, a lot of pressure to put on to Marc and still
Yeah.
playing a couple bodies at the back. So even if Marc is able to kind of get on board, push these things off, he still has to be able to actually then hold.
Yeah.
And you're going through a hidden card, and that could be Hidden Blade. We've seen some Consult the Past. There's a lot of options for what that could be.
It seems likely to be Hidden Blade just based on the fact that Declan didn't play it on their turn. Like, I think you play the free Consult the Past to look for the Time Warp.
Absolutely.
If that is what that is.
Good call. I think that definitely tells us what it is, and it is the Hidden Blade. So Declan's going to be able to draw even more. But if there are multiple warps, which I feel like this deck has to be playing 3. I really, like, the more I think about it, or maybe 2 in the main, maybe an extra in the side.
Yeah.
I feel like more than 1 warp is in this deck. And really, from that point, Declan just has to get onto one location to be able to cast it. He's drawn so many cards. Question is can he find it, or can he find another way to still get this win, as there is 1 rune available for Marc. He pushes into the Sanctum. There is a Ray, so this will be slowed down.
Yeah, and doesn't even get the value there because we've got all of the runes in play.
12 runes? Not going to be able to play multiple units and still warp. Machine Evangel also in this list. I actually was thinking that maybe I do like this card quite a bit into Kaisa currently. I feel like I'm not a huge fan of the card overall, but into Kaisa being able to get, you know, the extra material on board after maybe getting hit with an Acathian Rain is pretty nice. But this is a very wide board being made. Viktor activation going to go on top of the Legion from Vanguard Captain, which gives you 2 recruits after playing that Machine Evangel. Going to be able to get a huge board. And now Marc is looking for Rain, but the thing with Rain is, as I just mentioned with the Machine Evangel, you're still going to have material left on board.
And that's it. The fist bump is extended. And Declan able to take down a 2-0 with Viktor versus Kaisa. Is this
is a cool list.
Is this a Kaisa killer?
Look, I don't know about Kaisa killer, but I will say it looks good. It looks like a really solid build of Viktor, a lot more promising as far as the gameplay went than we had seen previously.